The next the next category is JRPG, Japanese role-playing games. Oh god, this is gonna be a hard one. The first nomination is Chrono Trigger. You can explain that one.
Pretty much it's a game where this guy, he goes into, like, this time machine and goes to this, like, pretty much, he has, like, this thing he has to do and then save this girl, and yeah.
Pretty much it's just a game that's like, it was back when around the Nintendo, wait, is it Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and SNES. It's this dude with spiky hair, it looks like he's from Dragon Ball Z, he's Chrono.
He has a time
machine. He has a time machine, you get to change paths, make your own story. And pretty much, yeah, there's like so many ways that you can end the game. And like, yeah. Next one is Persona 3 FES, which is, whoever doesn't know about the Persona game, it's one of the most popular Japanese RPG games. Pretty much, you control this thing called Persona, which is pretty much the other side of yourself. It's your inner darkness, your opposite self, which technically you fight it, and when you win, that persona becomes yours. You use your inner darkness pretty much to fight these things called shadows. And pretty much this gameplay is kind of like Pokemon. Well, that's what people say, but yeah. And Persona 3 pretty much, you play as this kid named Makoto. He's Makoto Yuki in the anime, but he's Minato Arisato, something like that, in the games. The next one is Tales of Exilia, which is also one of my favorite in the Tales series of Bandai Namco games. It's for the PS3. I don't think it's for the Xbox 360. It is a great game that you, if you haven't been if you're a fan of the Tales series, you're gonna love this one. You play this guy named Jude Mathis. He is a medical student who pretty much finds this one girl named Mila who is a spirit, well, the Lord of Spirits, because she is the spirit Maxwell, which pretty much goes into the Japanese style stuff. Pretty much Japanese mythology of legends and gods and goddesses, spirits, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a great adventure. The next one is Final Fantasy X, which is my favorite, close to Final Fantasy VII, but I gotta say Final Fantasy X is probably my most favorite Final Fantasy game. Titus, I think that's how you say his name. People say Titus, but I think it's Titus. He's a blitzball player. Blitz is pretty much like a cross between, I want to say football, soccer, underwater. It's an underwater swimming soccer football thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's like rugby underwater. It's awesome. Pretty much like that. And Final Fantasy X, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, then you should know Final Fantasy X is one of the greatest in-depth one of the games. The character development and everything was great. The chemistry with all the characters and everything.
And the laughing moment.
The laughing moment. But really, the characters are spot on great, and you would fall in love with the characters instantly. Plus, there's also a bunch of twists and turns in the games. Alright, the last one is Kingdom Hearts 2, which is one of the greatest Japanese RPG games that came from Square Enix. Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably my favorite. The first one is really, really hard, but Kingdom Hearts 2 just seems to me really, really shorter
and
easier. But it takes place a year after Kingdom Hearts. Sora, he gets to control the Keyblade. Well, pretty much he's like a Keyblade master, I would say that. But he gets this thing called a Nobody. Pretty much as Roxas after he becomes a Heartless in Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't know if I spoiled that or anything, but by the way, this thing probably is going to have spoilers. But yeah, it's a continuation journey of Kingdom Hearts. And the winner of the JRPG, drumroll, Persona 3 FES.